to reach you. Your heart is floating in the sky. We known each other for so long. We know our love like an old song. Sing along one more time. It's so much harder now to please you. Your smile is fading with the rain. And we known each other for so long. And I know you struggle to stay
We're not here to fight. We need your help.
Even though literally every time we talk to you, you double-cross us, kidnap us, or threaten to destroy everything we love.
Maybe we are here for a fight.
God!
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey guys.
Let us flip over to the morning challenge screen. Watch out.
Hello, 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 hello.
No
Sasquatch.
way! I can't believe
It's
this!
gonna snow with you? Whoa!
Hello. Love you guys. Lots 3 Paul bro. Love. Am happy to be here and am stunned that it's been 7 months already. 3 You guys are amazing and I am glad to know you. 3
all of those threes in there are hearts.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, thank you, San.
Sanrania, thank you so much. I can't believe it's been 7 months either. What a nice thing to wake up to. I just got up and that's such a nice thing to hear. Thank you very much.
No way! I can't believe this!
You better believe it, Robotic.
Yobi sub.
Thanks, thanks, Declan.
Yeah, Declan, thanks so much, dude. How you guys doing? Happy Tuesday, everyone. We all made it through Monday. Can you believe it?
I can't believe it.
Can't believe it.
No.
We're here. Yep, us three, Doig, Swift, and technical difficulties. Technical difficulties isn't up yet, but I'm sure they'll be present at some point.
Oh, by the way, some of my renders failed last night because I ran out of disk space. Hello, technical difficulties!
No!
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Okay. What can we do about that?
I'm just gonna, like, remove a bunch of stuff from my computer today.
Okay. At least we have hard drive for you to do that on too.
Yeah.
Welp.
Yeah.
It's only midnight in California. Oh, that's good. I'm glad that someone in America, like, it's not 4 a.m. or something, because I'm used to a lot of people being like, it's 3 in the morning for me. And I'm like, I'm so sorry about your sleep. I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, closing the forum. Forum's closed. No more submissions. It's done.
It's closed!
It's gone.
You'll never submit if you haven't submitted now. Never. 2:34 a.m. there. Paulboro, you must be so tired. No. Oh my gosh. Okay. I should get on these then, so that the people who are up have more of a chance of seeing their stuff looked at.
Yeah. If you are here and you submitted and it's really late for you, let us know and we'll jump to yours and get yours done.
Alright, yarp. Yarp. So the Animal Morning Challenge for this week was to do something around the theme of flight.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was pretty open. There's a cool challenge coming up, by the way, guys. I'm excited about the one that I'm giving you guys today. But first, we'll look at the ones which you guys have done over the past week. Let's check them out.
So this first one up is by Rain Cyru. Rain Cyru.
Cyru. Cool name.
And they said... I didn't love how I stuck the landing, no pun intended, plus animating recovery from falling was a challenge. It was nice to revisit bird anatomy again. I like birds.
Aw.
That's what they said.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Let's check it out. Here we go. Whoa, cool.
Nice.
Oh.
Cool.
Safe! I really like
nice.
the way that you're kind of illustrating the wind and rain with these kind of speed lines. That tumble through the air is gorgeous. Like, really nice, and I do love that little hop at the end there. Oh, look at the owl face! He's like, no! This is beautiful animation, Rain Cyru. Really gorgeous. Let's see. I think the relation between these two shots isn't very clear. I think maybe if you cut and make sure you keep the character at least starting in the same place screen wise, or have them travel in more from right to left at the beginning of this shot, then these two shots are more likely to tie together. I love this little hop here. It does feel like it needs a little bit more of a something at the end here, just when they come into this final pose. I love this expression of safe.
It's nice.
Yeah, whether it's like one more stumble or something after they reach the end here. I think it's something also about the balance on this pose. Feels just a little off somehow to me. I think maybe because I feel like they should be leaning forward a little bit more than they currently are.
I'm trying to remember my
You're-
fluffy owl leg
I don't.
anatomy.
Yeah, I'm not great with bird anatomy, so I could be completely wrong. But it definitely feels to me like for it to be on balance, it should be more like this. This always reminds me of Superman.
I thought it reminded you of Antique Challenge. No, Antique Roadshow.
Oh man, well now it does a little bit. Thanks for bringing that up.
No worries. That's what I'm here for.
Feels a little off balance in these end poses. Yeah, I would love like one more step or something for it just after it does its landing, these couple of hops.
Like ba-dum ba-dum ba-dum.
Yeah. This isn't how bird feet go, but you know. I put it in the wrong place. Maybe it's something about widening the stance too.
Tippy tappy owl feet to the music.
Tippy tappy outfit to the music. Need to keep the foot in roughly the same place, I think.
A little fluffy bird.
Little fluffy bird. And then they would straighten up. That. But they'd keep their foot in the same place. This is on ones at the minute, which I might need to change. But that would push the entire pose, I think, forward. So the end pose would be more like... Need to remember where I put feet. Let me just put my fingers on the screen so I can keep it in mind. Like here. Okay. Yeah, close enough. Where's the end pose? I'll find you. There we go. So the end pose will be a little more like this. But I put the head too far to the left, like a Koopa. But if you move the feet, the end pose will be a little more like this. And then I'll just say what I'm doing here. Additional stumble. Whoops. Oh no! Damn it! I've lost one of the frames that I drew. Okay, draw it again. And then change this onto use to get foot hold. Be about here.
Do you find it useful for yourself, India, when delivering these feedbacks to like figure out, like you're giving this feedback on this landing? It's almost like you're feeling it out yourself.
Yeah.
Do you find that you learn as you go on this as well? This is like you're just like you're problem solving here. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, I do feel like I'm figuring out myself. Sometimes it's a little bit scary because I'm trying to give feedback because I can feel that something could be improved or is wrong, but I can't necessarily put it into words.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not 100% sure that I can like figure it out in the 10 minutes that I try to keep to give people feedback.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, all right, here we go. Let's see if we can figure it out. I hope I don't make it worse. But yeah, I definitely learn a lot trying to figure out what it is that I'm feeling and whether I can improve it or like where I fail to improve it also.
Mm-hmm.
Just hope other people find it useful. So long as other people find it useful I at least feel like I'm helping a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there we go. So I do feel like just that little extra stumble at the end. There's something about carrying that momentum forward that feels a bit better to me. Because I think the feeling I was getting was that the momentum of them landing was stopping too soon. And even now, I feel like this pose goes up a little bit too much, goes backwards a little bit too much, and straightens out a little bit too much. So I'm tempted to push that back down a little bit. This first bit, I don't have any notes on. I think it's beautiful. Like, even just looking at the way that you have the tail overlapping and following the motion. So gorgeous.
Yeah, that's really, really nice.
One thing that might be super nice is at this end bit, where everything settles out into this pose. If you're able to have like the wingtips flapping here faster than the rest of the animation is settling, to show that they're flying through harsh winds and the feathers are kind of being buffeted around, that might be really nice. Like, everything is moving so fast here that you don't really see it, but when it slows down, it kind of looks like they're flying through clear skies just because of the movement on the wings is so like subtle and slow and nice. So maybe getting just these wingtips here being buffeted around a little bit. Show
yes. Make him say yes.
wind force.
Thanks for the follow.
Thank you very much.
Hydria Census.
Buffeting around. Feathers. Drawing cell.
Tib says it'd be nice if a new fast movement started just before the cut to tie the two shots together. I think you were saying that the oh, this song.
Definitely the positions between these two, this cut here doesn't feel like it really matches up.
Yeah.
I would suggest either way I'd suggest maybe starting with the character around the same place on the screen, and moving the camera a little bit to catch that, and then following them down. So if you're able to key the camera at the position at the bottom where you have it at the minute, so that that is fixed and doesn't move, and then if you're able to adjust the camera at the start position to have it start with the character in roughly the same place, that'd be great. I'm just going to enlarge this area a little bit so that there's a little bit more of an option. Watch. Eye trace. From scene to scene. Beyond the eye trace though, I think there is a problem with the mismatch between the poses and a mismatch in the direction. Like, you do have them travelling from right to left, which is awesome, because that's the way that we're going on this scene. But because they're doing it so briefly before they swing around, I think either hooking up the position here so I feel like they're about to make this movement at the end of this shot, or starting this shot with them flying more right to left and giving that like just half a second to register before they start turning in the air. would really help these two scenes hook up with one another.
Okay. Cool.
So I think you just write that down. And this isn't, don't take this as positional data, this is pose data right now. I'm kind of giving you a note on. So either start more level like this in this shot and give it half a second. Doop, doop, doop. Them traveling in this direction. Look at that arrow. Terrible. Let me give this its own little section over here. Hook up position. Otherwise you're not sure if you're cutting to it straight after or if you're maybe cutting to a different owl or cutting to the owl like 10 minutes later. Previous shot. Sometimes it doesn't let me sometimes it does not let me write. Hold on.
You should try the left instead.
Aha! Aha! Previous shot. Travel right to left. Give it half a sec. To register. I don't even need to cross my my A's. It's not like any other shape in the alphabet has a upward triangle like that. Could just do a little triangle and that'd be fine. Or end previous shot. With owl starting to turn.
Oh, cool. India Stack Oven in the chat is the animator for this, Rain Sairu.
Oh, Stack Oven!
Yeah.
Yo, hey! This is beautiful. Awesome work. I was just giving the note that between these two scenes here, I feel like the two could be hooked up a bit better. Both in terms of the eye trace, making sure the character's in a similar place in screen so that your eye's naturally in the right position to continue watching their movement, and also in terms of the character posing. So either finishing this shot with the owl starting to turn, so it hooks up to the position at the beginning of this shot as it's swooping around, or hooking up the pose from the end of this shot into the beginning of this shot, where you give it like an extra half second for the owl to continue travelling right to left across screen before it starts turning and swooping down. Let's see. Owl starting to turn to hook into start position.
They said OICC.
Oicy. There you go. Yeah, I don't have any notes in this beginning, but I think this animation is gorgeous. So nice. I love the follow through here on this tail. So gorgeous. Really, really nice stuff.
Yeah. Thank you very much for submitting.
Heck yeah. Punctuates, how'd you get it looking so smooth? Oh my god. Well, for one thing, it's got a really clear line of action. going all the way through it. Like at any time you can be like, yep. And that line of action is what's kind of animating up and keeping everything feeling like it ties in. Also, I think, let's see. Yeah, some of it's on 1s as well. It's generally on 2s. Everything's got really nice follow through and overlap. Like, everything's unfolding in like spirals and curves. Super beautiful. Everything's on like a really nice tight arc. The spacing is really nice. Like, see how this the spacing here is really tight, and then as we come down we get this nice wider spacing going on here. But everything's still following this really nice spiral curve. Gorgeous. Let me delete these lines that I've scrolled.
I'd be really curious to see if there was a rough before this, planning out those arcs, or whether it was just sort of done ad hoc.
This gives me the feeling of straight ahead. I feel like this was probably straight ahead, but
Cool.
that's a guess. You let us know, Stackhoven. Stackhoven said I did it mostly straight ahead. Yeah.
Got a keen eye on you there, Swifty.
No, it's just the movement is so fluid, and that's something that you often get when you're working straight ahead. Because you can kind of get in the zone and really like feel out where stuff is meant to be.
Cool.
Pose to pose is much better for stuff like the ending where you have the hops.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but for flight and such, straight ahead is a really good way to work.
Okay, cool.
Alright, we've got Porky Boy up next.
Alright.
Alright, Porky Boy, let's have a look.
Porky says, what the hell is the grid here? Question mark, question mark.
That's true, like it's pretty tough to do a grid on this one. Given that everything is in the air. I was saying that to Mike the other day. I've only like recently started learning to push my perspective and use grids more in my own work over the past year. And I was saying, thank goodness one of my first projects was Starlight Brigade, where everything takes place in space. So it's like, what's this environment they're going through? Like, it's just a void. Just a black void. Oh, he's been streaming it all weekend. Amazing. Should we, like, does Pokeboy stream on Twitch? Can we link the Pokeboy's Twitch for anyone who might want to catch future animation streams he does?
He posted a link, so let me go find that.
Didn't realise he'd been streaming it. I might have dipped in. I don't know. Let me hit play while you're looking for that.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, cool. Pokeboy is like such a straight ahead animator. Holy heck, Pokeboy, how much did you do?
Wow.
You can see all the roughs here, that's super cool. Pokeboy, you pro, this is gorgeous. Oh my gosh. I meant to give notes on this. Like what? That girl is gonna be sick.
Stream links. Okay.
This is wonderful. Yeah, it's like such a feeling of joy in this animation. You can really tell that you had fun with it. Like, I love the movement, the arcs you have going on. I really like this like slow travel across the screen of the main body of this this flying robot versus the faster movement of the rotation of it and the smoke coming out of it. The way you've done this spin is really nice, really communicates well. Nice swirling clouds we got going on here. I love it when you start to do the smoke like this. The smoke is super cool and fun to look at. Reminds me very much of the missile maps that you see on YouTube, you know, the Sakuga compilations.
Oh yeah. I think that might be what he was aiming for with this.
Yeah, I mean, there's very little feedback I can give on this because it's so fun and poppy, and the timing feels so satisfying, and the movement feels so satisfying, and I think you're totally achieving what you're going for.
Pablo says Etano Circus is the term I learned on his stream.
Nice.
Are you familiar with Etano Circus? I'm
yeah,
not as much, but I think
isn't that when you have like a billion missiles?
might be, yeah.
And you kind of follow the trail of them. So I'm just looking at the character here.
I think this is one of Porky's characters.
Yeah. I love this robot arm. So cool. Lovely poses. Tons of appeal.
So each week, Hydra Census, we give an animation theme. Last week's was Flight, so the animations that we'd submitted for this last week are along that theme. And India has a new one to deliver at the end of this stream.
I do. Look at this extremely picky feedback I'm giving on this arc. I think that on this one frame you could have a head a little bit bigger. Maybe a little bit higher in screen. Let me see if this would even work. I'd probably adjust it a little bit more like that, but I don't actually know if that would be any better. You know, both of you might have already done it better than I would necessarily have done it. There is a little bit of feedback I can give this. I just really wanted to like highlight first of all the stuff I love about it.
Yeah.
Because it's so good. This wasn't the feedback I was aiming to give. It was better feedback than this, which is extremely picky because the arc you have on this character already very much works, and I don't actually know if I'm improving it here. But look at that, super nice, that squash and stretch. So I think everything's working gorgeously, Pokeboy. This is super cool, competent, awesome, fun animation. That's like super fun to watch. And I love how much the character in your animation is enjoying it too. Your animations always have this like real spark of joy about them that I really like. Like the world that you animate is the kind of world I want to live in. So the feedback I have is just about this section at the end. Yeah, pretty much around this section here. My feedback is just don't be scared to really push it far away from the camera. This is about as far away as you push it. You can push it further. Like, don't be afraid of like your robot getting super far into the distance or super close to the screen. Like, really push how far away and how close up you have it during these shots. That's something that I notice with the missile circuses that I see. is they're really not afraid to push it super far into the distance. So, like, here you might end up like really pushing it so much further forward, and almost to the point where you can't see it and you're just relying on you're just relying on the smoke here to show you where it is.
The song titles aren't running. Oh, I'm so stupid.
But yeah, and also don't be afraid to push it super close to the screen too. You know, to really have it. Push close and far away from the screen. Basically, hold on, let me put tracing paper on so you can see what I'm doing better. There we are. Basically having it dip super close to screen and then pinging away from screen to give it like a little bit of texture in there. Ignoring these drawings, I don't think they're working. Let me put a little note on here. Don't be afraid to push the depth.
Porky says, please help me with the drag when she revs up and slaps her robot as
Okay.
well.
I'll have a look at that in just a sec.
Also, hello Porky.
Don't be afraid to push the depth of the shots. And really push the bot into the distance. Like, that's my only note, is just I think you could go more extreme with how far and close you have it from the cam. And I've chosen like not great places to illustrate it, but I think if you watch a few missile circuses, you'll see what I mean in terms of how far they push those missiles from the screen.
Mm-hmm. Giving that depth gives them a sense of more speed.
It just makes the entire shot feel like more dynamic and gives it more depth as well. So you say when she slaps the robot. Let's see. What was it? What was it that Pokeboy asked, Mike?
The drag on her arm when she slaps the robot, I think.
Okay.
When she revs up and slaps her robot.
So I'm assuming this is the slap. Here?
Is that the slap, Porky? Yeah, he's saying yes, that part.
And is it the the arm that's doing slapping that you want the help with the drag on, or the arm, the metal arm? Because there's a little bit of drag here where we have
The metal arm.
metal arm. Okay, cool. Let me have a look. What you got going on? What you got going on? I do think it's working at the minute, Forky. I think you could maybe push it a little bit more in terms of the extremity of the arc. Let's see if I can do anything. I might not be able to. This is already like working pretty well, I think.
Tibbs is right. Tibbs says, gosh, maybe you could have asked this question when you submitted the animation for review. Yeah, rather than just yelling, what the hell is the grid here?
Okay, I appreciate you being here.
I mean, the
Okay.
question explicitly asks, what did you learn or struggle with in this challenge? I mean, come on, Porky.
Jeez, really calling him out. I am happy to do it now. Okay, so we got this. This is a funky tune. Sometimes I just want to try and sound as much like an old woman as I can.
This is a funky tune.
This is a funky tune.
This is Every Battle by Hallman.
It's pretty cool.
We know that now because the titles are changing.
Nice. It's actually working.
Tibbs says, clearly what Porky most had trouble with was the submission form questionnaire.
Such a burn. Poor Forker boy.
That's both a compliment and a like
And a
burn
burn.
at the same time. Is this what the kids are boogieing to these days?
I guess so, yeah. This must be it, huh? Moving this down. Moving this arm down.
The form should have a required checkbox for the grid yes/no.
Yeah, and if it's no, it just deletes your application.
That's even worse than what I said that you pulled me up for.
We need a Michael Reeves invention where if someone checks no on the form, some form of BB gun shoots them in the back of the head.
India's been watching Michael Reeves recently.
Yeah, I've run out of videos of his to watch, unfortunately.
Oh, have you watched them all now?
I've watched all the ones I'm interested in.
Oh, okay.
There's a couple of his very early ones that I'm not as interested in.
Okay. Did you watch the surgery robot one?
I did
Oh my-
watch that one. Oh gosh, it gets so disturbing at the end. I'm so worried about like his proximity to the knife.
Yeah.
He keeps putting his hand in the knife's path.
Yeah.
It's like, please stop. Please, I'm so worried. He is amazing though, the stuff he builds. Makes me want to build stuff.
Enunciate my G's better. I'm sorry. Boobying.
What? I'm sorry?
Punctuary said, I misheard boobying as boobying and was confused for a moment, enunciate your G's better, Doig. I'm deaf. JGHDFK.
Drag the hair just because. Why not? It's there, right? It's draggable. She's going off screen. She's got all this long hair. I want to drag it. I want to drag it.
How do you pronounce a key smash? Thank you.
That's what I do. Whenever I'm talking to someone in Discord and I do a key smash, I say out loud that I'm doing it.
India, what do you think of Ben Schwartz as Sonic in the movie?
I like it. Like, I think he does a real good job. I think he's probably. I think I prefer him as Leo. Because Sonic in my head will always be Jaleel White. I think there's something in the voice didn't quite fit for me, but I did think that Ben Schwartz's acting was brilliant. Like, despite the fact that I don't think his voice completely fit the role for me, and that's because I have very particular ideas of what Sonic is in my head, because I'm a big old Sonic fan. I do think like he crushed it. I think he did the best job he could do.
I think it probably doesn't help that Sonic's character was altered for the movie.
Yeah, very much.
And so he was playing the altered role.
Yeah,
I'm sure he could probably do a good,
I think actually he would have suited Sonic had his personality been the same more.
Yeah.
Because he would have had more of a chance to use that classic smarm of his.
Yeah.
Because Sonic is like a really sarcastic, smarmy character. And the Sonic in the movie was played very innocent. Like, he didn't quite have the amount of sass he normally has.
Maybe he'll gain sass in the sequel.
Maybe, now that he knows how the world works. I think Ben Schwartz actually would have suited his voice more had he been the Sonic that I kind of know and love. The one who's kind of less like a lost kid.
Mm-hmm.
Discovering the world for the first time, and more like a teenager who's kind of over your bull hockey.
Sonic 2 Rise of the Sass.
Rise of the Sass. But that's why I like him as Leo so much, is because he just can do unbridled sass.
But still be charming.
Yeah. Anywho, I just wanted to. I did a really bad job of wiping the screen with the hair, but Porker Boy, you can do a better job than I did. Do it better than I did.
Do it.
But I would love to see you like drag that hair and really use that as she goes off screen, in a way that flows nicely and looks good. That would be good. I'll leave that part to you. This is probably how I'd adjust the arm arc. I'd probably just get it off screen a little bit sooner. And I'd extend the arc out so it sweeps off screen. At the minute it feels a little bit like you're trying very hard to keep the arc of it on screen. But it actually feels like the arm would extend out more if she's travelling fast. Like, the faster she's spinning, the more the arm would be flung outwards. I feel, so I've like flung it outwards more off screen there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it works better, but that's what I would do. So you can take it or leave it, because I think either way, you've got something good going on here.
Good job, Porky. Next
Good job, Porky. This is amazing.
Next submission.
Wow. We should watch this one more time through. Just 'cause it's awesome.
No.
You're too late. I pressed play.
You hit. Okay.
Wow. So fun. Oh, ignore these terrible notes over the top that flash by. There you are. They're done. They're gone.
Good job.
Yeah. Awesome work. Wow. Wow.
You gonna give him a star? Nope. Dumb.
You had to say it, didn't you?
That's not a star.
No, it's not. Everyone's going to get something different.
Okay. I'd like to see you keep that up.
Well, maybe I would. You should know more than to. Why do you do this?
Challenge.
You know that I can't not do a challenge issue 1. And this is the Bird Brain. Everybody go check out the Bird Brain's channel. She does amazing tutorials on Toon Boom.
The Bird Brain says, since I know my way around bird flight, I thought that animating smooth and slow movement in the air would be nice to practice.
Oh, cool.
P.S. I meant to have some interaction with the background as the girl hit the floor, but lack time and can't anymore because I am at my parents'.
Oh,
For now it doesn't make sense because the boy is getting to the ground and there's nothing where the girl lands. Oh well, I'll fix laters. You're
Okay.
awesome. Can't wait to see everyone's flight animation.
Aw. Thanks, Seb. Wait. Doodle Curls in chat. Glad you didn't submit yours. You have one. You should have submitted it. What? You should have submitted it. Alright. I'm gonna hit play. Let's have a look. This poor person.
Bonk.
Bonk. So what's the part that Zeb was talking about practicing slow, smooth flight? The person in blue landing beside the person in yellow.
I think so.
That must be it, right? I was expecting slow, smooth flight, and then this child just falls in from the sky. This is cute, though. I like this a lot. I like these characters. They're fun. Let's have a look at what we could do to push this.
The Bird Brain has given us her YouTube link for her
Thank
social
you.
link, so here you go. If you want to follow the Bird Brain's YouTube channel, she does cool tutorials on animating in Toon Boom.
Yeah.
He must say yes. Make him say yes.
Thanks, Donnie.
Thanks for the follow, CJN7716933. Please don't be a bot.
I really like the shape that you have on these wings as they unfurl and unfold. These are really pleasing to look at. Really nice choice to do them a different colour on the inside and outside as well, so that you really make the most of those shapes that you're using. This is like a little detail thing before I get into doing actual animation feedback, but I feel like when this character puts the wings down, they get much shorter than they are when they're extended. Kind of feel like if you were to keep the same amount of mass, then they would end up going right down to the floor here. More like this kind of thing. Watch length of wings. Of wangs. What?
Nothing?
What you looking at me for?
That's fine.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it should be more like this, maybe. And let me put on tracing paper so it's easy to see what I'm doing. I'm just using the shapes you've already got, but just extending them down to make them longer, basically. I made my arrays too big. Oops. There we go. Something a bit more like this, maybe. So it doesn't feel like we're suddenly losing a lot of length, because it's about this point where it feels like it kind of pings up into a short shawl. Could be that these are magical wings that retract, in which case I'm sorry that I wasted your time giving you this feedback, but if not, then just watch the length of them. Okay, so in terms of the actual animation, look at this squash that we have here. That's really fun. I think it would be really nice to have some shadows here just to kind of define the ground plane a little bit more, because it's it feels very undefined at the minute. Like I can't really tell where the ground kind of is going to meet the characters before they're on it.
Yeah, there's a very, very faint blue kind of mesh.
I see it, but I don't see necessarily like it over here where the character lands. So I think just map that out so it's clear. Shadows are probably an easy way to do that, just so we can keep track of where the character's going to be, how far they are off the ground, etc, etc. Define ground plane.
A 3-frame animation challenge.
Ooh. Is that the entire challenge, or would it be a specific thing to do in 3 frames?
Tib says 3-frame loop is a great challenge, and Porky Boy says 3-frame loop. Oh man, I could just imagine Porky trying to fill the entire screen with multiple things doing multiple 3-frame loops.
Maybe I'll nick that for the challenge after this one. The Tib 3-frame loop challenge. So the character comes in and then the head kind of pushes to the side. I feel like the head would still be lined up in the same place, even if their head, even if their shoulders smashed down out of their head and twisted their head to the side like this, the head would still hit in the same place. So you might want to just move the frame where the character's falling down so that the head lines up between the two. I'll just put lining up head with next frame. So the way I'm seeing it in my head is the head would hit first, straight down, and then the shoulder would come and hit the floor with the body folding in afterwards. So that's why I'm saying to try and keep the head in the same place between the frames in terms of it going straight down. And then this is a great squash frame, really like this. There's not much motivation for the character to bounce so far this way. I don't think. It feels almost like they kicked off with their feet.
I mean, if they were coming in at a diagonal angle from top left down and striking, it would feel like it would make a little bit more sense.
That's true. Maybe we should just do that instead, Mike. I'm gonna steal your idea. Mike's really good at giving animation feedback.
What? I was gonna say how dare you, but also, oh.
Yeah, like the things you think of are real good. You're a good storyteller, Mike.
Maybe it's just because I understand. I think with physics.
Maybe, but it's definitely super helpful to have your input because you think of very obvious solutions to things that I would overcomplicate. Like, I would have adjusted a whole bunch of other stuff that would have been much harder than just coming in at a diagonal instead.
Ah.
Yeah.
It's also where the other one comes in from, so I assume they were flying next to one another just before this.
Oh, nice. I didn't notice that. Here we go. This is what we want. Poof. And then that makes more sense.
Bouncing ball, yo.
Yeah. I'd still probably rather than have this like very flat to the camera.
Yeet.
This is my person being flat to the camera. I'd probably have them like, this is their back. Doing more of like a spin with their cloak dragging behind them.
Yeah, Punctuaries. It's not a stage name. It's the name of the website that delivers this music. They're called Epidemic, which they might get more search around about now.
That's true.
Although pandemic is probably. People probably still call it an epidemic, to be honest.
Yeah, rather than choosing a pose flat to cam, maybe just try something a little bit more nuanced. Like, since they smashed in face first and their face is closer to the camera, you could have them rotate around with their face, like their top of their head still facing the cam. And get some like nice overlap with their pigtails. And it might just be a little bit more interesting pose-wise. Try something. Like, it really adds to the dimensionality of your character when you like show them rotating in space. I don't know what you'd call this. More... It's not necessarily nuanced. I'll just try interesting. And then another face. This poor character. This is one of the moments where it's like it's good to know where the ground plane is, because I almost feel like they've connected here. Let me move that
But did
back.
they go lower?
Yeah, they do. They keep going. It almost feels like they're connecting there because of the bend in the neck. But then we go even lower. So just be sure to define with shadows or a grid where your character's going to land, so that it's not like confusing.
I think
so
also
much.
here they're like landing on a slope. So yeah, it's still a little bit unclear.
Yeah, because you could do this to make sure that the head stays in roughly the same place. But we don't. So just watch for that. Watch for where ground plane is. Show us with shadows. Show us with shadows. Show me where the ground plane is. And then the squash. It's nice. I'd love to see this arc of movement continued, because it feels like we completely flatten out here. Whereas it might be nice to drag those legs and just have the upper body squash as the legs continue to come in. Because it almost feels like the legs snap down here. So instead having like the leg continuing to come in. Just to like follow the arc of movement. And then you can even start bringing this leg over, which would follow into this movement of the character like turning over with the leg, the momentum of the leg kind of carrying them over into a roll. This might require a little bit more work from me on the arc here to make it make sense. But I'll do it.
Gosh damn it.
Dagnabbit. We just learned the other day that apparently Tarnation, back in the olden days, you know, in the times when it was used regularly,
He must say yes. Make him say yes.
it was very much seen as like a swear word, which is hilarious because Tarnation itself is derivative of Darnation, which is derivative of
Damnation.
Damnation. So it's actually already a swear word thrice removed to make it less like a swear word, but was still considered a swear word. Like, there's a neck crack.
It's kind of like people using the substitute for heck. Or using the substitute heck for hell.
Yeah. But then it's like if heck also became like
It's
Beck.
still, and then Beck still meant hell.
Yeah. And then Beck was still like not okay to say.
Per Beck. Is that true, or is that just you making something up, Kurzak?
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I have just realised that through not looking at where the next frame is going to go, my frames don't make sense.
Oh.
Because this character rolls over here like this.
Ah.
So their back doesn't stay in the same place. So actually, I think I will keep this foot more to the side here. And then pull it over. With the rest of the body being the motivation for it to pull over, rather than the momentum of the leg carrying the body over. Do it the other way around. The upper body kind of leads.
That's why you should start animating where your character will end up and work backwards.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
See, let me put my actual note on here, which was drag the legs. to continue line of motion. Because if you remember, what was the name? Rain Cyru. If you remember Rain Cyru's challenge, with that very, very clear line of action running through everything, and how that flowed from frame to frame, it's the same thing basically with this. I'm looking for the legs to drag so we can continue this motion down, essentially, like a whip.
Gotcha.
A very good animator once said, everything is just a whip. Every movement is a whip motion. You learn the whip motion, learned everything. You can stop learning. You're done.
Which animator was that?
I may have added that last bit on myself, and that may not be true. But Richard Williams, I think it was, who said, everything is a whip motion. Everything is a whip motion. So learn whip motions, essentially.
Thank you for the follow. Oh ho 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 boy.
Oh boy!
And also Key GB3. Thank you. Welcome into the Animation Breakfast Club.
Welcome. I am just trying to work this out. Work it out, work it out. Okay, so we have this roll happening. And it's like they're rolling the lower body while the top part of the body stays pretty much where it is. So I've just started that roll a little bit earlier, basically, to ease into that motion a little bit more. And I think when it comes to this little bit here, I would love to see, rather than snapping from this position to this position, and then kind of easing out of it, I'd love to see like a little bit more rotation on the head on this frame, just for one frame, to like give us a slightly different angle of the head. And then you can ease out of that. You can use the opportunity to drag the pigtail as well, since the character's flopping over. And then have that settle in. And then I would love to see you do a similar thing with offsetting the arms. So you have this arm hit the floor slightly later, which is great, but I'd love to see that pose pushed even more. So we really have like the forearms dragging, then the elbow hits, and then the forearm hit, and then the hand hit. To have that like motion unfold.
Cool.
a little bit more.
Dum-ba-dum.
To like delay parts of the body and overlap the motion.
Vert, we were at a talk by James Baxter who recommended drawing the end frame first, so you knew where your character was going to.
Yeah, he was animating a dog
Drinking some tea.
drinking some tea. And I would probably increase the fold over there. Maybe not as much as I've done, because that implies that there's more wing than there actually is. The way that I've drawn it there. But you could probably do like this much. And then have that hit on the next frame so that you're still overlapping the arm more.
Cool.
No! Did it on the wrong frame. No! I did it on the wrong frame again.
Did James Baxter do the little I think dogs should vote Griffin McElroy animation? I don't know.
Oh my gosh, did James Baxter do a Griffin McElroy animation? That would be incredible.
I think dogs should vote animation. There's a bunch. I don't know which one is.
Now, I like that we have this character coming in from off screen here. This is real fun. Don't be afraid to telegraph that more by having them poke even more on screen with their foot. Really nice. So I like this rotation we have with the knee coming around here. That's real nice.
James Baxter apparently plays Animal Crossing with his wife, of which he did a little animation of the two of them giving each other a smooch for their anniversary.
Oh, I saw that. That was so sweet. Ooh. I like this little swoop animation you got going on.
Yeah.
This is real nice. I might accent the end just by having them come up a little bit more. So it's this kind of motion. With a little hold here. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh.
Accent.
So it feels less like they're continuing to slide to the right as they come in, and more like they come down, up, and then plop down.
That makes sense.
I do like the gentle way you have them land, though. That's nice.
Yeah, it contrasts the hitting the face off of the floor quite well.
Yeah. Very nice, gentle, graceful. Maybe have more of an up. Just before they land.
Is that what those lines with tiny lines on them are for? India's showing the path and then where the exposure, like where the frames would be on the path. So where she's got the three close together, that would be 3 frames close together.
Yeah, so this is essentially an animation chart. So
it's a motion path.
It denotes, yeah, the way I've done it here denotes a path for the character to follow.
Yeah.
But also you can use them just like this, straight across, where this would be even spacing. So if you imagine a ball traveling from left to right, this way, this would be how it would travel. Or you can cluster the spacing at either end to create eases. So this would be an ease in, because it's easing into the end position, right?
Yep.
So here I'm just denoting that the character would swoop down quite fast and then kind of hang at the cusp of the curve here.
Mm-hmm.
They would hang at kind of the apex of the height and then plop down.
Yep.
So if you ever see those on animation frames, they're essentially... key animators used to use them to show the in-betweeners where to put their spacing, but animators also often use them just to plan out where they're going to put their own frames.
Gotcha.
So yeah, really, really nice gentle motion here. I really like the way they land.
Good job.
Yeah, good job, the bird brain.
Thanks.
Lovely stuff. Very cute characters. Nice job!
She got a quack.
It's
Nice.
a duck.
Oh, it's a duck.
It's got a little band round its neck.
Oh, that's how you know.
Yeah. I'm just gonna put watch ground plane. And motion path.
Adding a ground plane or a perspective grid is not enough. Your characters need to adhere to it for it to count. Not saying Zaburbrain's doesn't, but her grid was a little wibbly, and when the character landed on it, it didn't. Her wings spreading out didn't really adhere to the grid underneath.
Yeah, and Punk Cherries, you're not a pea-brain, don't worry. How are you supposed to know this stuff until someone explains it to you?
How are you supposed to know?
How are you supposed to know? There was a point at which none of us knew what this stuff was and we had to learn, so don't even worry about it.
We're on to blah blah neeb.
Blah blah neeb.
Blah blah neeb
Blah blah
say.
neeb.
Blah blah neeb say. Give Clip Studio a shot. Try the trial to see if I like it. I do.
Aw.
Had some fun with poses and used a lot of Clip's tools for grids and camera movement. Also had some reference practice with the Into Space Shuttle. With the interior of the space shuttle. We'll see.
That's super cool. Nice job, blah blah neeb, on trying a new software. I didn't know you could do camera moves in CSP as well.
I didn't know that either.
That's pretty rad.
Radical.
But yeah, big ups. Blah blah neeb always pushing the envelope. Let's have a look.
Establishing
Yay,
shot.
bagel! Oh no! I love it.
Bagel in space.
In space!
Very cool.
Poor bagel. I love it. Oh my gosh. You always like get the comedy so well. Like, I don't really want to adjust anything because I very much enjoy the comedy here.
I would like to add that I saw the 3D print that Blah Blah Neeba's made of Bagel. They have a 3D print of Bagel.
Wait,
model.
You've printed it and you have a
Yeah.
little figurine.
Yeah.
Really? His little grabby hands. Yeah. Bryony, 100%. I'm not going to adjust any of the posing here because I think that you have nailed the humor. Like, it made me laugh. And the animation on this is very limited, but it totally works for what you're doing. So the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the poses you already have and look for ways to strengthen them.
Cool.
Because I think like what you have right now is working. I guess you could have like a thing where it shows that the gravity switches off. Like a little gravity on-off switch that clicks into place. Or something.
Yeah, there's a link there for the 3D printed Bagel if you want to see it.
Okay, I do need to see this. I need to see it. I'm sorry guys, I need to see this. Hold on. I interrupt this critique to bring you 3D printed Bagel. Hold on, this is the whole thread. One sec. Bring this over. I have a message. I have to check that later. all this stuff that you're making. That's so cool.
Oh, cool.
Look at that octopus with the articulated arms. That is
Whoa.
so fun. Whoa. That texture looks very pleasing to caress also. Here we go. Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. So terrified already. I guess you have to like sand it down, do you? How do you get rid of like the little rivets on it? So you have to do like a little sand job. He's a good boy. He looks ready for takeoff. It's true. That good boy.
Yeah, apparently you have to sand it.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
interesting. Yeah, interesting.
How do you not sand away the shape?
You just have to be careful, I guess. You can get different grades of sandpaper depending on how much you want to sand.
Next step, stop motion bagel. Yeah, just 3D
my
print
gosh.
every pose.
Yeah, you've got to make yourself an articulated figure so you can... Oh my gosh, you could totally do that though, couldn't you?
I would probably just beanbag the body and have the head.
A hard head.
Well, his skull is donut shaped, right?
It sure is. So I guess what you could do... I mean, I kind of like the symmetry here because there's something... Let's face it, guys, there's something unsettling about Bagel. And I kind of like playing into that. So normally I'd be like, oh, you should make the pose a little, you know, less perfectly balanced and symmetrical. So that your character looks more at ease and, you know, that it feels more natural. But I'm not doing that for this because I think Bagel would stand perfectly symmetrically even if no one was watching them. They would just be like, yep. In fact, I enjoy the sagginess of the body, so I'm going to exaggerate that a little bit.
He melting in 0G.
Kind of love it, honestly. I'm just going to thicken up this leg.
Why?
So that it's more balanced with the other leg.
Okay.
I'm looking at trying to make this pose kind of symmetrical.
H. Robon says, even though it's very limited animation, I would put a very close in-between frame next to the next key and then a very close one to the last one if you can. And in between the last two, you basically have snappy animation.
Yeah, that's a good way to push it. So, blah blah neeb, if you want to like keep the snappiness, but also add a smoothness and a like professional sheen, then Robun's suggestion is a really, really good one. It's something that you see limited animation use all the time, which is that they will essentially take their keys and create very tight eases into them just one frame before or 2 frames before, and it'll just add that little bit of cush, that little bit of plush cush that'll make it feel lush. See what I did there? I rhymed stuff.
Yeah, you did.
So I kind of want Bagel just staring straight forward into the camera, like he can see our souls. And he's just stood there, and this is the way that he stands when nobody's watching. Stand like nobody's watching, Bagel. So let's see, where's our next pose at? Floats off the ground. And here I think you could exaggerate this head tilt by using your frosting line, essentially.
Oh.
So you have like this great kind of built-in frosting line to show when things are tilting and what the angle is exactly on the head. So you should totally use it. So you would see it inside the mouth and you would see it on the top of the head a little bit. Here. Let me just get it squash. Yo, get that squash, Bagel. Get that squash. I'm sorry for my hairy lines. So just here inside the mouth. I'd add that frosting line. And I'd do the same thing at the top of the head here. Just show that frosting line. In fact, probably I would move everything down a little bit to really show that they're looking down. And to keep that feeling of dimensionality. Makes the tilt look a little bit more extreme. Do that. And of course, don't forget the teeth. The most unsettling part.
They really are. Neeb, they really, really are.
They really unsettle me, these teeth. But it wouldn't be Bagel without them.
Are they like, I think I likened them to sugar cubes way back when.
I think they're just teeth. Like child teeth.
Child teeth. Why?
Milk teeth.
Your
So-
definitely teeth won't say what kind.
Thank you. More nightmares will come. So accent head tilt. Or accentuate head tilt. Better word.
Needs
With
an E.
frosting. How's your head tilt? Needs more frosting.
Your actual accentuate needs an E. At the end.
T to the E to the accentuate.
There it is. What? Why? I didn't do nothing.
It's not a punishment, Mike. They're making you strong.
Ah.
And then we have his little arms grabbing, which is great. Let me see if I can strengthen this pose any. Watch the head to make sure you maintain mass there. And it's not shrinking over time. And we'll get to see, as you've got here, you've accentuated it with the icing here. Good job. Good job. I'm just giving his body a little bit more room by raising that head up a little bit. Because I want to see a little bit more of the what's happening with the body here. Because I feel like the body...
You laughed in the studio for the grabby hands. Hey, Holly.
Yes. The grabby hands are great. I don't want to play with them too much because I like them. I'm going to overlap this over the top button a little bit to imply that a lot of the body is going behind the head, because essentially then we can imply that the shoulder's like up here, which means that the arm doesn't feel like it's losing length as we're stretching down. But I'm hoping anyway. That's my thought process behind trying to make the body look like it overlaps the head a little bit more here.
The body was very hard to do on this one, says Blabani.
Yeah, this is a tough pose. I think you handled it like really well overall, for sure. And then the legs are going to be the hardest part of this pose.
Just put them out to the side.
Just do this. But I do like the way that Blah Blah has pushed them back in space. I think that's nice. They'll push them out to the side a little bit more, maybe. This. And then they overlap the the hand slightly less because you want to watch this little bit here where you have the knee and the thumb meeting. So you can clear that silhouette out a little bit more, make it a little bit more obvious. The clearer you can make the silhouette, the better.
Nice.
Aha!
Oh.
Bagel joke.
The proof is in the pudding.
Clear silhouette.
Bookaject 1, thank you for the follow.
I can spell silhouette. Does it have a H in there somewhere?
It does.
Silhouette.
Silhouette. Silhouette.
Silhouette. It has an L, right?
Yeah.
Silhouette.
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 But yeah, I think
I don't know. Clear silhouette. And maintain volume. On.
yeah, Vert MB, I think you're right. Saying, I feel like blah blah already has something very hard to teach, comedic timing.
Yeah, 100%. And that is something that is really difficult to teach and difficult to learn. So if you use that power for good, blah blah Neve, as you have been. Little grabby hands. I wouldn't adjust anything about the timing here. I think it's great. So we have poor Bagel going upside down. And this is where I'd be like, I'ma find a frame that I think represents the size of the head well. I may have made the head slightly big here. So maybe here. This is the size of the head. And I'd use that as reference down the line, just to make sure I'm keeping it pretty consistent.
Where's your submission this week, Ole? Huh? Huh?
Don't you get at Ola?
Why is it cool?
He's been busy.
Yeah, it's probably gets
Very
busy
busy.
with its work in professional
Yeah,
animation.
because you're drawing the bagel here like it's slightly tilted. So if you want to tilt it, I'd again add that icing detail. If you want to have it straight, then have it straight. Don't even worry about it. Just make it straight on bagel. Straight on bagel. I'm going to check further down the line because I have a habit of not checking and then being like, oh, that's why you had it that way. I guess that note was useless, but I think this time, you probably want it flat on, given the rest of your pose. Just because the rest of your pose is so flat, I think you're kind of using that for comedy. And so probably bagel would be flat on here.
Ole says, I've got 2 jobs at the moment, you little bugger.
God, you're so lazy, Ola. When you're gonna actually do some work, 2 jobs? Pff, that's nothing. Why can't you find any time, huh?
Two,
Just joking, please don't murder me.
2 lazy jobs.
Yeah, 2 lazy jobs. You're only drawing. I mean, you enjoy it, so it's not really work, right?
Don't even say that as a joke.
Yeah, I'm 100% joking. Anyone ever says that to you, punch them
No, don't punch them.
with your pencil,
But bring out your big, like,
boxing glove and punch
no,
them.
your big chart, big whiteboard, and explain to them.
I'm sure that will make them feel much more convinced.
Punching with your pencil is called stabbing in the air.
No, officer, I was punching them with my pencil. Just making sure that I'm not shrinking the body too much here.
No, I didn't kick them. I merely touched them with my foot while my foot was traveling fast.
Very much enjoying this pose, by the way, blah blah. Just thicken up those legs and make sure they're like properly attached to the dough body.
To the torso.
Again, this is just a matter of me trying to make sure that the proportions are being kept between the poses. So I'm looking at the first pose you did of
USA, yes.
Bagel just standing, and then trying to like bring that same thickness into the legs that you had there, bringing that same size to the torso that you had there.
Thank you for the follow, Chimeranimates. Chimeranimates.
Some people draw very clean. I draw like chicken scratch. The gift I inherited from the chickens who raised me. I love that he just can't reach over his head. Give him a little bit. Can we give him a little bump? I am an adult and bums make me laugh. I have a refined sense of humour. Also bums, though. I love the way that these are some nice poses you've got going on here. Just apply the same volume to them all. But I really like the way that here you're making this all one shape. That's super nice. So please keep on with that, 'cause that's awesome. And then Bagel is annoyed. The final pose, Bagel is annoyed. Let's see what we can do. Also, yes, I added a shadow here, just because the head is tangenting here with the back of the grid, and I want to make it very clear that that's not them resting on the grid. So I've added in a shadow, and I think it might be a nice thing to just add a shadow in general to this.
Yeah.
You know, just since we have Bagel floating here. I think that will really like sell how high off the ground they are and make that very clear at all times. Which actually means that they would be like here instead. The shadow would be like more like there.
Man, I hate dailies.
You hate dailies?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, when we had them in that company we both worked at, it's just like I always found it really stressful to sit in a room waiting to be like asked a question.
It was stressful, but I also really liked it. I'm a fan of dailies. Mike and I are kind of opposites. I do feel like I don't want Bagel to go off screen as much here. I wonder if you could move him. I guess if you moved him down, it would kind of defeat some of the purpose. So I'm thinking about like how you're having his body rotate in space. And how moving his body down would make him feel less like he was floating, because it would be like suddenly he's got lower in terms of his body's elevation.
Yeah.
So I understand why you put him up here, and I don't think there is really a way you can adjust that. You could pull out a little bit so that he doesn't have to drift off screen. That's one thing you could do just on the scene in general, rather than having any camera moves, because I think it's nice your flat staging and your lack of camera moves really helps the comedy. You could I don't want to say start with your camera slightly higher, because I like the central composition you have going on here. You could start with your camera slightly pulled out, which would just mean that he wouldn't end up drifting off screen so much here. But yeah, let me see if I can find a way to push this pose just a little bit. But yeah, I really like dailies because I liked seeing what everyone was up to. Like, it was nice to hear what everyone had done and what they were planning to do that day. Like, I found it really interesting because it was in a games company. So it was really cool to like hear the UI artist be like, well, I want to implement this part of the menu today. And then for the designer to be like, I'm gonna try and fix the problem we have in this system.
Yeah.
Because normally as an artist, I wouldn't hear anything about that. And as someone who's really interested in game design, like hearing the kind of problems I were running into, how they were trying to solve them, like it was super interesting. And also just had a nice feeling of community about like everyone is working on different parts of this larger machine. You know? I liked it. It was cool.
I just got really like nervous and sweaty every morning, so
Yeah, I was always nervous just because like art always takes such a long time. You're like, I'm gonna try and paint this one person today, and I'm gonna try and do it in under 5 hours.
yeah.
So I'm wondering if we can get just a little bit of the frosting on the lower part of the mouth here. Like, Bagel's looking down a little bit. Save me from myself. Get the sagginess of that body in there. I really like the shape of the body you got going on. And then looking at the center line, should be like this. Getting them buttons down that center line. And then the legs are hanging straight down here. So just getting them feet in too. Hold on, I don't like that I just drew. Moving that shoulder over a little bit. I'm gonna try and like separate things out from the pose a little bit. To try and increase that silhouette readability. Potentially is what I'm thinking. I might not be able to separate them out fully, but I can do my best.
You need to add in the furrowed brow.
Yeah, I could do it. I wasn't going to completely redraw everything on it,
okay.
but can do that. If I shorten these legs to imply that the butt is stuck backwards and the legs are hanging down,
Yeah.
then we can avoid tangenting with that hand there. Just trying to work it out, bear with me. Trying to make sure that has a through line through the arm, so it makes sense. And just checking that like I'm not losing in this pose. I'm going to move it over one so I can see the pose beforehand. I don't want to lose that feeling of limpness that you have in the limbs, which I think I am a little bit. By adding the knee in, I think I've lost a little bit of the limpness that you have. I do this all the time when I'm working on animation trying to strengthen my poses. I'll have the rough and I'll be cleaning up like a few frames in so I can flick back and forth between them and be like, have I lost the essence of what made this drawing work in the first place? And it's like, it's nothing specific like you know, oh, this elbow needs to be pointier. It's like, is the feeling of the drawing the same?
Yeah.
Like, have I lost what the drawing was communicating? Have I lost what was funny about it?
Yeah.
Like, or have I made it? Have I, like, strengthened it? It's the hardest with funny drawings, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you try and impose, like, solidity and volume on a comedy drawing,
Yeah, it loses some of that kind of irreverence.
sometimes the thing that is funniest about a drawing is that it's off model. You know? And you can either put it on model and have everyone give you like a nice pat on the back and compliment you on how on model your animation is. Or you can leave it off model and make people actually laugh at the joke you were trying to tell.
Yeah.
And then have everyone tell you that you did it off model. You know?
There are some storyboard panels from Rise of the TMNT where the expressions are super pushed.
Oh my gosh.
And you can
Yeah.
see that they've been toned down in like bringing them onto character model.
I do think that they do that really well in Rise. So
Yeah, like they still have the comedy there, and they add a level of like particularness to the characters when they do it. But you can see that the stuff isn't quite as extreme, probably for good cause. It's just interesting to see like something, particularly in the way that Kevin draws the characters. He almost has this shorthand that is so off, so off in another direction.
But Kevin's designs, like Kevin's boards, have actually influenced the characters' designs.
You reckon?
Yeah, 100%. Because the way that Kevin has drawn the characters ends up in the final poses.
Okay.
Like, it 100% does. Like, the alert that we have, where Donnie's like, maybe we are here for a fight.
Yeah.
He's got these kind of diamond-shaped eyes that come off his head. And that's something that Kevin does in the boards.
Oh, yeah.
To exaggerate an expression. But it's been incorporated into the special poses and into the way the characters are actually animated because it's so funny, even though it's completely off model and makes no sense.
Like, that's awesome.
Like, they will get these, like... Hold on.
No, we're talking about Kevin Molina, Ortiz. Is it Ortiz or Ortiz? Probably Ortiz.
I say Ortiz, but I don't actually know because
Okay.
I haven't heard his name said out loud in full.
Oh, it's just Kevin.
But he will pop the eyes off like this. And they end up in the poses in the show.
That's cool.
As do his shorthand for them long distance being just, I'm a long distance turtle. These are my limbs now.
Oh, yeah.
But one of my favourite examples of that is in the episode The Gumbus. There's this great expression that he's drawn of April and Leo realising that there's like a ghost behind them. And his expression in the boards is hilarious. And it's been brought on model by the animators, but the animators have also really pushed it.
Yeah.
So both of them are hilarious. They both look great. I can't decide what my favourite is between the final poses and the boards. So the animators
That's
that
cool.
Flying Bark really like found their feet with that style. Especially, I think like 6 or so episodes in, they like really find their feet with it.
Yeah. That's one thing I noticed a lot about the initial concept design artwork for Donnie in particular is it's very not what he ended up looking like in the show. If you see like the early drafts.
About what in particular about it?
I think it's just the spacing on the features and the general head shape is way off in some of the marketing from from before the show released.
I think the way that the turtles are drawn in general kind of evolves over the show.
Yeah.
It's the same as any character. Like when you design a character at first, once you've been drawing them for like a year or two, you'll find that you've changed and adjusted things about them. They won't look like the first drawing you did of them.
Yeah.
And it's the same with that. Like I think in season 2, their eyes are generally bigger.
Okay.
Like they've increased the size of their eyes, so the expressions read slightly more.
You now
Stuff like
wonder
that.
how Rise Bagel would look like.
Oh my gosh, Rise Bagel would probably look exactly the same, you know? Like, why mess with perfection?
Alright, you. In saying that, you can stop drawing this one now.
Okay, I think I've managed to clarify and keep the spirit of it. The thing that I'm not happy about is the head.
I think you need to add in the eyebrows for your expression and to
Okay, I wasn't looking so much at the expression as I was just the head shape. I will add them in if they are disturbing you by not being
I'm
there.
disturbed.
I guess I assumed that the eyebrows would be kept, but
Yeah.
I understand that that's not clear unless I say it out loud.
Yeah.
People aren't mind readers.
Yeah, there we go. Now your drawing reads yeah, there we go. There we go.
Bagel unhappy. Bagel destroy.
See how quickly that went from gormless to unhappiness.
Okay.
Angie.
So yeah, just to give you like a quick example also of what Robin was saying about having one frame, just like 1 or 2 frames of ease in to your positions, keeping the snappiness but making it also like feel slightly more I guess polished.
Yeah.
If I'd use this as an example, and I'll just basically ease in to this pose. Just using the key pose that you have here as my starting point.
It's like the difference between cutting to a new pose and I guess snapping, or like limited animation moving, limitedly moving between the pose.
Limitedly moving.
Limitedly moving. Limited edition frames.
It's like the least you can do to smooth out the motion, but it's very effective.
I think the intro to Purple Jacket, the way Donnie moves into the school, is a good example of that.
He kind of just pings from place to place and then has some smooth movement while he's there. He like pings around the scene.
I think it'll help push your work, blah blah Neeb, if you nail it, because
Yeah.
you've got the comic timing.
This
If
is
you
a
augment
good...
it with this,
Sorry, Mike, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
it's okay.
I was just agreeing with you. You're right. I think specifically in Blah Blah Neeb's case, learning this technique is really gonna prove worthwhile for you. It will also... Who calls me?
Who is it?
I don't know. Don't do it. I don't want to answer. Stop. I don't know what I did. It's still calling. It's just now not making sound anymore.
Does it say who it is?
No, it does not.
Oh.
It's not a number that I recognise. I'll have to see if I have credit to call them back.
Okay.
Let's see, what was I
He
doing?
must say yes. Make him say yes.
I don't know what you were saying.
I was just saying that this is a good technique for blah blah. Need to learn.
Microsoft scam bait. Is that what you think, Ola?
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say it will also really help you with your volume control. Because it's you essentially having to do very subtle movements while maintaining the feeling of form. There you are. So you would essentially...
I did buy something yesterday and it asked for your phone number, so I'm sorry if it's anything
What
to
did
do
you
with
buy?
that. The plugin for After Effects.
Oh no, that was an English number,
Oh. I don't know then.
so I don't know why that would be so.
It's probably one of your parents' home phones or something.
It's not one of my parents' home phones because I recognise the number.
Oh.
So there we are. So you barely see it, but it just adds that little bit of feeling of easing into something. You can have it on 2s. You can even have it on 3s if you like. It depends how snappy you want the movement to be. Yeah, so try adding in-betweens. To cushion into poses. Cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Let's move on to the next one.
All right.
Great job. Oh wait, I need to. So funny. Love bagel. Bagel love.
Blah blah Neeb says, thanks a ton, India.
This is my bagel Sona.
Is that hair?
Yeah. My bagel Sona.
I don't even want to know where the nose goes. No! No! Oh, your little creepy witch face.
We're on to exoskeleton.
Cool.
Let's have a look. See, I recognize these characters. It's cool to see that you have these recurring characters, exoskeleton. That drawing is cancelled. Don't cancel me because of my beautiful drawing. Just because y'all can't handle my bagel Sona. Here we go. I'm so interested in how this is going to go into flight. Oh my gosh, they can just, they just go. They just go. Well. At least they seem to be having a good time.
I mean,
What's your question, Michael?
Okay, this
What's
guy.
your question?
This guy's following him, and he's all happy, and then somehow he's not behind a rock. Is it just a different frame showing
is-
both characters?
Yeah, this is a cut-in. Think
Oh,
of like
okay,
a comic panel.
okay. It's a cut-in. I get it now. I thought he was like hiding behind a rock.
No.
I get it now.
I can see why you would think that, though, now that you've mentioned it.
It has lighting on it.
Well, I think that's the back of the trees.
Yeah.
Here.
I would just have that. Never mind.
I will say that I'm slightly confused as to what the actual story is. It seems to be like they stop because they notice something, but I'm not sure what they're noticing that they wouldn't have noticed, having already been friends with this thing I mean, I'm assuming they're already companions because they're walking together.
Yeah.
But like the way I interpreted it was, "Hey, look at your belt," and they're like, "Oh, my belt! It can make me fly. I just have to tap my hips, and here I go! Ah ha 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 ha! Okay, oh, it's out of control."
That's very good.
And this character's like, "Oh, it's great. Yeah, nice job, good job." That's the story as I'm interpreting it.
It makes sense to me.
Yeah, I don't think you need this beginning scene. I don't know if you just started animating it and you were like, "I want to do them walking." But I don't think it's necessary for the story. But like, I do think it's fun. And I'm never gonna tell someone they shouldn't animate something because it's fun. But I will I will use my crit powers for this part
Yes.
with the
Good.
flight.
Good. The theme.
The theme. Let's see. I like the body language miming here, but I'm not sure if I've interpreted it correctly.
Tap tap.
Tap tap. I mean, I love this part where they're laughing and they're just like having a great time in the air.
And then
Like-
they look down and like, wait.
Good for them. I do feel like we maybe need a bit more time with them struggling here, and realizing that they can't get back down, because it's literally one frame of them going from happy to struggle.
Mhm.
Two if you include the in-between. I think you need to hold this or use more frames on this bit before you cut to that. So I would include more frames for sure of them like waving their arms around, like ah, and really like make it clear that they are very dismayed at this outcome. It was not what they wanted.
It's that tear in their eye.
It is.
Yeah, that's a good point. Blabla Neva said, really cool leg smear on that struggle frame. It's like a camera shutter artifact
Yeah, that is cool.
where it's like you see it in one place and then cut and just, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I agree. Like, maybe try that same technique with the arms too. You just need it over more than one frame.
I feel like that
Essentially.
might be a comic shorthand, but I'm not sure.
Like, it could use these shorthands. But I'm just using them to show you, like, that's my alarm. That's a weird time for my alarm to go off.
10:42.
10:42. Maybe I snoozed it the other day or something, and then it ended up pinging back to 10:42. But yeah, this is just me showing you that basically you wanna flail these arms around over multiple frames.
Yeah.
I love the way you're handling the leg smears. The other note I would have. Oh wait, I should write the note on here. Need more frames. / time to see panic and flailing, to understand they're out of control. They out of control. Yeah. The only other thing I'd say is watch the dimensions. There's a few frames like here where the head feels like it increases in volume. So again, I do the same thing that I suggested with blah blah and that I've suggested on other weeks, which is find a frame that you think represents your character well. And then use that as a reference. So you can keep the proportions feeling comparable. So if I take this frame, it is mine now, I've taken it! Then you can see here the head kind of blooms in size.
Yeah.
And you can see when we get to this point here.
They're much larger.
Whoops. Yeah, that the body has got way longer. So just keep an eye on that. I realise I've just lost the frame that I just traced, so I'm going to trace it again super fast. Sorry about that, guys. Sometimes if you press undo in this program, rather than undoing what you did, it just deletes what you just did.
Oh.
But I'll just make it super fast. There we go. And then pull it over here. I can't pull it over there because it's only one frame. Okay, I'll pull it there instead.
Ola says, I find it interesting how sometimes when people animate and are feeling confident, their character grows, while if you're not so confident, it shrinks. Not saying that's always the case though.
Oh, that is interesting.
I wonder if there is a correlation there.
Yeah, I bet there is. Like a psychological link. Watch proportion of character. Use early frame for reference.
I think about people who go to life drawing and they're not feeling confident about it. I've seen people just take a sketchbook or like an A5 piece of paper to draw in. Whereas like at life drawing they're like, yo, take the A3s and the A2s and draw big.
Draw big or go home. I really like this this composition here. I do feel like your character zooms off. It feels too fast to me. It's almost like they've been lassoed around the ankle and they're being yanked up there by a plane. Like they vanish so fast. In general, as a rule of thumb, if something is traveling at a constant speed, and that's assuming that your character isn't actually meant to be speeding up. So if they are meant to be speeding up, then ignore this. But it's still good just to know in general. If your character's traveling at a constant speed, the closer they are to the camera, the faster that will appear. And the further away from the camera, the slower that will appear. So if you have a character falling at a constant speed and they fall past a camera, and you're animating that, you're going to have way more frames of them approaching the camera at the beginning of the shot than you are of them passing the camera at the end of the shot, even though the speed hasn't changed.
Yeah, because it's what is it? Speed equals distance over time, or something.
Basically, because they're traveling the same distance, but the distance
is smaller.
It appears smaller when it's further away because of the perspective. So, essentially that means that if your character were floating up at a constant speed, they would actually ease into the end position rather than ease out of the beginning position. And also, you would probably end up with having them travel more like this. Looking at the kind of perspective you have set up, rather than traveling into the corner. Into the corner to me
is them going sideways.
Yeah, implies that they are also flying to the right as well as upwards. Because you've kind of set up here In fact, I've even made it probably a bit too far to the right in what I've done. But you've kind of set up here that if they were to go straight up, will be going in this direction, right?
I think either of those works for me.
Yeah.
I think the one you have there follows the line of where they're grabbing towards, so it feels nicer.
It follows the eye line.
Yeah.
Which is nice. But yeah, if character traveling at constant speed, ease into end position. Rather than easing out of start position. And also traveling straight up. Rather than sideways.
Yeah.
I'll put rather than sideways up here. It still makes sense rather than sideways, traveling straight up. So you would ease up into that end position, and just like with the position itself, easing into the end position, you would ease into the size of the end position too. So you would start big, medium, and then the smalls would get like much closer together in terms of the scale of them.
I think that what you've just done there demonstrates what you're talking about, like really well, like better than that's the
me
best.
Writing.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, I like the clap. That's cute.
He's just happy that his friend is doing something.
Well, they seemed happy too. Like they're having a great time. Love this acting. They bananas. BANANES. I'd say watch Twinning, but you do later on, so nice job. Yeah?
Cool.
Yeah. I think the main things you want to watch, watch proportions, and spacing. Nice work! And I'm giving you a balloon. That's a balloon, in case you couldn't tell. Oh my gosh, it's Evelyn! Hey Evelyn! I see a turtle! This pleases me.
Now I'm just gonna say it's almost 11, so I'm wondering,
I think
you
this
going
needs...
through them all? Or are you
No.
Okay.
I don't think we're going to be able to get through them all in one morning, but I'll finish off the critiques tomorrow. But I did want to get through 6 today. Since there are 11 submissions,
Okay.
that means that if we get through 6 today, we have 5 to do tomorrow.
Okay. I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Just to start off, Evelyn, I want to say, like, nice job on the environment here. Like, it's super cool to see you drawing, like, nice, solid-looking buildings
Yeah.
and environments, because I don't think I've seen you draw a lot of backgrounds before. But this is feeling really nice already, like a nice space that you've created for your characters to inhabit. So, like, really nice job with that. Good perspective. All right, let's have a look. Oh yeah, engaged our battle shell. I like you got to the end and you were like, I don't need more than one pose. It's fine.
There's one frame at the end where he looks like he's turning a bit.
Yeah. Let's see. Yes, he is. You're right. Let's see. Between these two, I'm assuming that this is going to be us looking down from above. This is one of the moments where I'm like, grids! I need grids! I need context for where this action is taking place. Like, you did such a gorgeous job of getting the environment in there for the first shot. Because what I would say is, if he's flying towards us here,
Mm-hmm.
if the perspective on this is, I have flown off this rooftop, you know, and I am now flying towards you. And this is like, if there was a flat plane just in the sky, this would be what it would be. This kind of thing. Then I would say to you, I feel like we need to have him get into that position in this scene.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than just cut to him flying, it'd be nice to have him like start to make his way off the rooftop and get into that position. So then when we cut to this, it makes more sense. However, if this is us looking down on him, and this is the rooftop that he's standing on, and we're looking straight down and his shadow's like here, then all you would need is for him to maybe to look up in this scene.
Cutting on the action.
For us to cut down to looking at him. So knowing whether this like pose works or not is a lot to do with knowing whereabouts the camera's oriented in the environment. Which is why the grid is super important to give us context for like where this shot is taking place, what exactly is happening in it. Give me my grid. Give me my grid. For context. Heart.
One thing you can do if you want to have two actions following one another, but not necessarily having them flow one into the other, you can have like a cut to like B-roll or something. So like you could cut in for a close-up of the boosters or like him grinning or something, and then cut to a completely different setup for the shot, and still have it feel like it's continuity. Like if you have like A to B to C showing three ideas, then A and C don't necessarily need to link up. Does that make sense? Like, from what I was saying?
Yeah, like you could totally, you can hook up shots where the poses don't necessarily match, but you just need to make sure the storytelling matches in that case.
Yeah.
So like, he's about to take off, you see his boosters fire and he's in the air and he's taken off. Like there needs to be some kind of string of logic you can follow, either visually or, I guess theoretically.
Yeah. You just wanted him to go for a takeoff.
Is Evelyn in chat right now?
Yeah.
Oh, Evelyn, tell me, what was the viewpoint meant to be on this scene?
We are looking down, she says.
We're looking down, okay.
And that he does look up, but not enough, I guess. I need help on how to put the grid in there. I just want him to go for a takeoff. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's good to know. That means I'm doing the grid right. I was like, oh, I hope that this is a down shot, or I'm putting in the wrong grid. So I'm glad that I got that right. That makes sense. Yeah. Get that.
Oh, you are using a ruler. Okay, I was
No,
like,
this is all
whoa.
freehand.
Oh,
I'm just
yeah.
really good at it now.
Yeah, okay.
This is my freehand. Don't know if you can tell the difference. But yeah, getting that grid in there. Okay, so in terms of looking up, yeah, we want to match the amount that he looks up, essentially. So I would have his head pose more like this. In terms of how much he's looking up. Just there at the end. Let me move this to the relevant frame. Ooh. Just here. I think that will cut in better. Make sure his eye direction is the same too. So.
Take care, Robin. Good luck with your dailies.
See you, Robin? So if he's looking like over that way to the right here, make sure you've got that same thing happening at the end of this scene. Let's have a look at the actual takeoff and have a look at what's going on. I like the detail of how the shell comes out. That's cool. Beware just for tiny, tiny details, like the fact that his shell ends here. Let me... ends here in this frame. And then on the next frame, you kind of push that down. Like, you want to keep the bottom of the shell feeling consistent because the bottom of the shell isn't moving. Only the top portion of the shell, i.e. what I'm assuming is this bit, is actually moving up and away. So, if that bit's not moving, I'd be careful to make sure that you keep it in the same place. The other thing I'd say is that I think you could push the movement here a little bit by offsetting some of the limbs and such, because everything starts moving and stops moving at the same time here, and everything's got the same spacing. So I think having one hand start slightly before the other or settle slightly before the other would be really nice. So here you could start his fingers coming off his forearm, but only from one of the arms. And then this hand is already more ahead before the other one starts unfolding.
Evelyn, you're giving India an excuse to draw turtles. Thank you.
I really appreciate it, Evelyn. Thank you. I was feeling deprived. And then you can ping this silhouette out. Here. I'm just going to draw this bit in silhouette.
Anna Morning is your excuse to animate turtles.
Heck yeah! I'm glad I've given you an excuse. And then thinking about arcs, thinking about bringing this hand around here in an arc so we can settle it up into this pose. that needs to be down slightly from where I've drawn it if I'm going to make a nice pleasing arc. Just thinking about it traveling in a circular motion.
Do you ever work in a way where, like, with these offsets of the motions of the limbs, where you work on those on their own layer, so you have the freedom to move those frames around? Or do you? Okay.
I do sometimes, yeah. I don't all the time. I generally like to avoid separating things into layers.
Okay.
But sometimes it's just the smartest thing to do. Because sometimes I will offset something, realize it needs like either one more frame in one direction or one more frame in the other direction, and then realize I have to basically redraw the entire thing because I've drawn it on the same layer as everything else.
Gotcha.
Which sucks. Or you just like are adjusting the drawings and it means that you're erasing the stuff below it, and you're losing that when you realize you've done it wrong, you know?
Evelyn, honestly, I think you need maybe another software or another way to work, because it might be holding you back a little bit.
Oh, what are you using at the minute, Evelyn?
Procreate gives a lot of limitations when you animate, like layers, one layer equals one frame. So she has to animate all on one layer.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it all on one layer.
Yeah.
It does make it slightly less convenient, but you can definitely still do it. If you can get Krita, I definitely suggest Krita, but if you can only animate on your iPad, then I haven't been able to get Krita to work on the iPad.
Oh, really?
No, because the operating system on iPad is slightly different. So I've downloaded Krita, but I can't open the package file.
Okay.
Apparently, if I open it on a computer, which I'd need a Mac for, then I can take the file out there and put it somewhere for me to receive on my iPad.
Right.
But I might run into more problems after that. That's just the next step of the process if I want to actually open the installation file.
Gotcha. Declan has a Mac if you need it.
He does, I could ask him. I've made them settle at the same rate again.
Oh, apparently Krita doesn't work on Mac. It works, but it lags, so you can't really draw.
Okay, that sucks. That really sucks. In that case, I won't bother trying because I'm not interested in using it if it's gonna lag.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you are stuck to using your iPad, then that might be your only option. Rough Animate is meant to be good. I think I have that for the iPad as well, and that allows you to work in layers.
Cool.
I think it was like €5. So I'd recommend that. This is just me trying to artificially extend how long this arm settles for. So, excuse me, artificially extending how long this arm settles for because I realised that I accidentally put both the arms on the same timing again. When my whole point is that you should offset them. So yeah, essentially I'm just suggesting that you maybe bring the arm in to settle about there instead.
He must say yes. Make him say yes.
You know, the head would be a really nice thing to elongate the settle on too.
Thank you for the follow. Mama Jean. Mammy Jean?
Because you can have the head go up instead, because you have this nice arc you've started where you're almost like doing a dip under with the head. Like he starts with his brow tilted down and then tilts up at the end. So you've set yourself up for doing like this nice swoop up. And that would be nice because it would oppose the action of the rest of the body going down. So let's settle it like this.
Nice.
While the body goes down. And that will just make everything feel... You see how everything feels like it's a little bit more organic now? Because everything on him is settling at like slightly different rates. If everything settles at the same time, it feels more robotic, which you can totally use for robots. by the way. Like, rules are made to be broken. It's just about knowing when to break them. So, like, look for good opportunities to get a little bit more life into, like, a bit more bang for your buck with the animation. So here where the battle shell pings upwards, why not have it, like, overshoot a little bit? Because you have it ping upwards so fast that it implies, like, a powerful movement. So you could overshoot that and then have it settle back down afterwards. Make it feel more powerful. Make it feel like it's like BAM! BAM! And then I'm just gonna show you what I mean by outlining this as you currently have it, so you can see the overshoot.
You just got bammed.
Bammed. You see, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Nice.
Yeah. And then you have these rotors come out, and I'd love it, like, to see them break the silhouette a little bit more here. Since these are going to be the things which are letting us fly, let's instead have them, like, settle here. It's slightly less realistic, but it means that we can see them way better. And the ones on the other side too could be like maybe that. And then there's that cool cloud you have coming out. To make it look more like it's coming out from the rotors and less coming out from, like, his feet in particular, I just start the circle a little bit wider. Because I'm thinking about these things being like, right?
Yeah.
Rather than them being like, so to make it feel more like they're kind of shooting outwards, I'd start that cloud of dust just a little bit wider.
Down and out would be more stable as well.
Yeah, I love that you are using, like, the dust from the rooftop. It's really cool to see you using the environment in this way. This is going to be so cool, Evelyn, if you finish it. Like, super into it. And not just because it's turtles, but it's cool. And then here, you have this takeoff. It's a very gentle takeoff, which is totally fine if that's what you want. I think I'd be tempted to leave this foot behind even more if you're doing a gentle takeoff. Really have him, like, extend that foot out a little bit as he comes up. Just to, again, further offset the limbs and their movement. And then have that foot settle back a little bit slower. Again, just offsetting the movement. That's basically my priority at the minute, is just to put everything on slightly different timing so not everything is settling at the same time. And then into that final pose, which I might adjust to just make his feet feel less flat onto the screen. Essentially. Hold on, I need to make sure that this is being motivated from the hip and not from the foot. Even though the foot is the extremity that I'm tracking for the arc, I want to make sure that this makes sense mechanically with the rest of his body. There we go. That's better. And again, just having this fold in afterwards rather than having everything settle at the same time. If that's one takeaway from this to push your animation more, I think that's the thing. It's like everything's working really nice in the posing and everything, Evelyn. Just look to offset some of the parts of the body from one another, so it's not all happening at the same time. Nice little float cycle you've got going on.
Nice.
I think you could have a little dust cycle happening too. Even if it's just the dust has now been blown away, so it's more like just these little speed lines on the ground to show very slight shifts in the silt and dirt on the roof.
Nice.
And you would just need like 2 or 3 frames of basically just this traced again, with the lines in very slightly different places, but following the same curvature. And if you cycle that, it will feel like the wind is constantly pushing away the stuff on the roof. And then we look up. And we get this shot. Obviously, like with this shot, I think it would be awesome to have, like you could totally use this as a base. I think it'd be great to have his limbs and everything and his face like reacting to
The path.
the path of action. But a totally legitimate way to do that is to first just plan it out with one pose and then to go in and adjust that pose. Like this is a nice one. So you would have him start to tilt a bit earlier here. So like maybe here you would start to tilt his body over and his face over.
Yeah, Evelyn says this, I didn't have time, so this is a plan out.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I understand. Time is of the essence, especially when we only give you guys pretty much 3 hours to do it. Just start turning him ready for that frame. Yeah, I'm excited. I hope that you continue with this. And you could also have, when he actually takes off, you could have, you know, the dust renewed, kicked up around him as he goes. Have a pigeon blown off the roof or something. I'm all about torturing them pigeons in TMNT, man. That's my jam. I love the amount of pigeons that are like hurt in the making of TMNT.
Oh my god.
It's like so many scenes where just a pigeon gets screwed over for no reason in that show.
Is it a seagull in the one where
Oh, it is,
Mikey
yeah.
yeets the ship?
Where he yeets the boat. Yeah, that's a seagull. There's like the pigeon that just get eaten by a cat in the Battle Nexus episode. There's the pizza pigeon that they're trying to take a picture of. Anyway, my geeking out over TMNT aside, this is super cool, Evan. I'm excited to see what you do with it. I hope you finish it. It's cool. Like, not to give you a bunch of extra work, but you could have like
That pause. So
I was
deliberate.
like, should I? But you could have like, you know, a string of washing, like someone's tea towel on there, and like when he takes off, you have, you know, like it all flapping down below him.
Yeah, there's a mutant, I think, called Pigeon Pete in the 2012 series at least.
Plop, 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 plop.
And he's rabbit, like he's incompetent, so his redemption arc is him gaining competence.
Yeah. You did it good, Evelyn. This is awesome. I gotta give you a little doodle. Amazing work. Oh, that's not how you do a W.
What did you write?
I don't know. We're like a U? 2 U's next to one of them?
Amazing arc.
Amazing work.
You get a Donnie.
I love that you knew immediately.
Of course. Donny Square.
Yay! Yeah! Amazing work, everyone! Like, super duper cool. Everyone's like... It's so cool to see you guys do this from week to week and see everyone's improvement. You guys are killing it. Thank you so much for taking part. We will finish off these critiques tomorrow. In the meantime, I need to give you the next challenge.
You do indeed.
Let me just find you some reference for it. Which I should have done before the stream. Apologies. What's that bloke's name? Good animator? James Baxter.
James Baxter, that's the one.
You guys have to animate to the standard of James Baxter now. This is the challenge. The challenge is animate as good as James Baxter. It's not really, guys, don't worry.
Who is James Baxter? Is that a horse? Lol, 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 says Kimmy.
Lolity, lol. Oh my gosh, can I not find it? It might be something that I have to find.
Everyone's dying because you mentioned James Baxter was part of this challenge.
This might have to be some reference that I find for you guys afterwards and get Mike to post up alongside the challenge. Let me just try one more.
Oh, Link is real. Oh, Kimmy says, I cried at his reel yesterday, guys. What?
I think he's actually on YouTube. Let me just see if I can find him on YouTube.
Bum ba-dum ba-dum.
James Baxter.
Hey, brother.
Awesome. He does have a YouTube.
So scared to try and talk to him when I was like standing next to him.
Biscuit. Okay, let's see. Dog being a dog from 4 years ago. Animation at Netflix. You know, he might not have one on here. Oh well, in that case, I'm gonna have to find you guys the reference afterwards. But I can tell you what the challenge is now. So, the challenge this week, fair gentle peoples. You okay, Mike? You're tippy-tapping.
I'm trying to find the thing that you're looking for.
Okay, well, I'll tell people what the challenge is. The challenge this week is animals putting on clothes. So James Baxter has a certain exercise that he does with his classes whenever he goes and teaches. This is something that he's known to do. And it is to choose an animal. Like,
click this link, India.
Click this link. Okay. Here we go. Choose an animal. So this is one example of all the ones that James Baxter has done. Choose an animal and have them put on an item of clothing. I think he also has one where an otter puts on a t-shirt, which is super cute as well. And the fun in this is in the body language, the acting, and of course getting that cloth feeling just right. It's a complex technical exercise that is going to require some real study of how you would put on something.
This is amazing. I wrote rabbit pudding cloths without the E in it, and that was the first result, the one that you got. I corrected it to rabbit putting on clothes, and that example disappears.
Nice.
I don't even see it in anywhere.
Can you find the otter one as well?
Yeah.
So this is one of the challenges where we're going to be able to tell if you haven't studied how people put on clothes, because the way that humans / animals would put on clothes is so particular. Like the way that someone would put on a shirt or a jacket or pants, like it's very specific.
I can't find that one.
A great example is milk coat animation. is Roger putting on his coat in...
I found a study of James Baxter's Otter putting on a shirt, but I haven't found his actual one. This might be it.
So a great example is Roger putting on his coat here. Like the way he fumbles to find the armholes, like it's so particular. This one pings back and forth between being reversed and playing forward, so I'm sorry about that. But yeah, have a look at how you would put on a piece of clothing if you were an animal. Like make it feel natural.
There's another link for you, India.
Thank you. Here we are. Otto putting on jacket. Look at this. The way its head pokes through at the end. But he keeps the animals feeling like what they are too. It's fun to see him have to work with the animal anatomy. Like when you have this weasel where you have this really long torso, he incorporates that into the movement. When you have the bunny where you have the really big feet, he incorporates that into the movement. It's so cute, isn't it? So yeah, that's your challenge for this week. An animal putting on a piece of clothing. Have fun with it. And choose something that's slightly out of your comfort zone so you have to push yourself. You know?
Yeah. Thanks so very much for the challenge, India.
You're welcome.
What we're calling it?
What are we calling it?
Yeah. Fabric farm.
Baxter Bougie.
Baxter Bougie?
Isn't bougie like fancy clothing?
Do you mean bourgeois?
No.
Okay.
Do you mean boudoir?
No, I mean I mean bourgeois. Bourgeois? Bourgeois. I don't know what bougie is, but I can look up bourgeois.
Bougie is like fake fancy.
Oh, okay. Bourgeois is the middle class, typically with reference to perceived materialistic values or conventional attitudes.
I see.
I don't know what. How do you spell bougie?
Furry fabrics, Kimmy. That's great.
Oh, but then okay, furry fabrics is pretty good.
That's way better.
But you can do things that don't have fur as well.
That's true.
Like
you can do
feathers and
lizards.
scales and stuff. Yeah.
You can do a lizard putting on a hat
Reptile shells and stuff.
with his tiny arms not able to reach his head.
Cool. Furries are all encompassing. Awesome. Furry fabric.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
But I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of these submissions.
Animal articles of clothing. That's good. I like
Animal
it.
articles of clothing. Well,
Yep.
we're gonna head off.
We are
Like,
gonna-
thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
And have fun with this next week's challenge. Snake putting on a sweater. Or a snetter, a snake sweater. That'd be hilarious with just the arms dangling. Or a snake trying to put on a scarf and having to like swing its neck around to get the scarf to wrap around it.
I'm gonna raid Angavar. That's who I'm choosing today.
Yeah, well, we just stole it, Doodle Curls. We just stole it from James Baxter. But the man knows like animation and he knows how to teach. And this exercise looks like it will be challenging and fun.
Yeah.
So I'm into it.
Trouser snake pun. Oh dear.
Oh, man.
On that note, let us leave. Bye bye. Goodbye. Take care. Angavar.
Angavar.
Start the raid.
Start the raid. Angavar. Angavar.
There we go. Okay. Thank you so much for coming by. We'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah. Have an awesome day, everyone. Best of luck with all your projects. And may the rest
Of your day.
be filled
With
adventure.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye. Ooh, crit.